Welcome to Wealth Builders with your host, Anthony Congemi, brought to you by Crescent City Retirement Group, the show that's all about helping you grow, protect, and secure your financial future. From Social Security maximization and strategic 401k and IRA planning to tips on life insurance, Medicare, and annuities, Anthony and the team at Crescent City Retirement Group have the tools you need to help set you up for a successful retirement. It's time to take control of your financial future. Now here's your host, the trusted voice in retirement planning, Anthony Congemi.
All right, welcome to another show of Wealth Builders. My name's Anthony Congemi. We thank you so much for joining us this morning. We have a fabulous show I think we have set up for you this morning. We have a special guest that we'll be introducing here shortly. But before we get started, we have our co-host, our fabulous co-host that we do every Sunday morning. And frankly, I don't think we could do the show without Tony. So, Tony, thank you so much for joining us. You bring a wealth of knowledge and inspiration to the show. Thank you so much for being here, Tony.
Well, Anthony, you're too kind. I mean, you're really the knowledge base when it comes to finance. I mean, if people want to talk pizza or music, sure, they're going to come to this guy. But Anthony, I appreciate being able to spend every Sunday morning with you. It's so much fun being on the show, and I always learn something from you. This is great. And we've got a really special show lined up. I mean, you have a huge get on today's show. You got a huge guest. This is a big get for Wealth Builders, and I can't wait. But I've had a great week. Just been really busy. How about you?
About the same, Tony. We're getting through tax season, so it's been pretty hectic. I don't know. Did you know we had a blizzard down here about a month ago, 3 weeks ago? We talked about that, didn't we?
Yeah.
Every time crazy. I see you, I think about, you always talk about Minnesota and how y'all deal with the snow up there.
Yeah. And
I tell you, we didn't, I don't know if we fared out. I mean, we basically just shut our city down for about 3 days.
Yeah.
But we've been doing good, Tony. Tax season's been busy for us, but other than that, it's just been taking care of our clients and trying to keep up with the kiddos, and that's always good. Yours are in college now, huh, Tony?
Yeah, in fact, one's out of college and married. The other two are in college. One graduates from college this year. So I have 3 kids. We're basically empty nesters at this point, which is in a way nice. It hasn't gotten any cheaper. We're still helping the 2 in college and helping them pay for some things. But yeah, I mean, it is a different feeling. Now we're looking at downsizing, right? So now we're thinking about the future, right?
Isn't that something?
Yeah, it is something. And speaking of the future, employment retirement plans, that's something we all need to learn more about. Tell us about our special guest today.
Absolutely. So, employer retirement plans is going to be so important, especially for our self-employed folks out there.
Yep.
So Stephen Peranio works as a sales consultant at the Haslauer Group. And they are a TPA, Tony, a third-party administrator for employer retirement plans. Stephen primarily works with clients and advisors, and that's how we met Stephen. He works with many of our clients to design their retirement plans to fit their needs as it relates to their company and their company structure while navigating current rules and regulations. Stephen was born and raised here in New Orleans, and he lives in Metairie. He's got 2 sons of his own. And Stephen, I want to just thank you so much for joining us. I think this is really a big topic and a big subject, especially for our self-employed folks out there. So, Stephen, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it, Tony, and Tony and Anthony. Sorry. Thanks for having me. Happy to be here and happy to talk a little bit about what I do and where we can help for your clients.
That's awesome. Now, before we jump into that, you have 2 boys of your own. How old are they?
14 and almost 12 this week, actually.
Wow. Okay. That's you got your hands full there. A couple of teenage boys. That's fun, though.
They're good boys, though. They're good kids.
That's awesome. And you live right here in Metairie. That's awesome. Well, we're going to get into this, and it sounds great. What the company you're with is the Haslauer Group?
That's right. The Haslauer Group, started by Beverly Haslauer, 2020 or so. And since then, her son, Jonathan, in the last 6, 7, 8 years, took over full time. Beverly actually retired. So we have a retirement person that started our company, actually got to retire herself. A little bit of success story there. And second generation, her son, Jonathan, is taking over and kind of taking the reins of the company.
Yeah, well, very good, Stephen. That's awesome. And, one of the things and that's why I'm so glad you're here today, for folks that work for companies that provide retirement plans, 401ks, defined benefit plans, even 457s, 403bs, all these different retirement plans out here. In a lot of cases, if you're working for the company, it's kind of plug and play. You have a retirement plan, you have a 401k, the company may do a match and you're just putting money into it pretty regularly through your payroll. And so it's kind of set it. In a lot of cases, it's set it and forget it, But for our self-employed folks out here, if they don't take the initiative to set up their own retirement plans for their company, for their organization, then a lot of those benefits that people can take advantage of, tax benefits being one of them, they really don't have access to as a self-employed person. I mean, in other words, if they don't take the initiative to get those plans set up, and I mean, correct me if I'm wrong here, but if they don't take the initiative to set those plans up, then they pretty much any kind of tax benefits that the employer or the business owner might have available to them, they just aren't going to be able to take advantage of.
Mm-hmm. That's correct. I think we see a lot with business owners. Their company, their business is their retirement plan. We hear that a lot, right? So yeah, I'm putting everything into this company. I'm going to grow it, build it, and I'm going to sell it at some point later on down the future. And that'll be my retirement nest egg. That's great. And that's not a wrong answer. And certainly works out for a lot of people, but this is kind of in addition to, this can be an actual retirement plan where money is being saved and put away and you're benefiting from it on the tax side as well. And have that in addition to whatever you may be doing with that company later on down the line in those retirement years.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So yeah, being able to put money in on a tax deferred basis, because so many business owners I talk to and have talked to over the years, they say, well, gee, we're just getting clobbered with our taxes. And, a lot of businesses, well, they'll say, well, hey, before the end of the year, they'll start trying to, maybe put some money if they've had a big year. Maybe they go buy another piece of equipment or they go, do something with the money so they can offset the tax liability. But if they had retirement plans set up, rather than go and buy another piece of property or buy another piece of equipment, I mean, wouldn't they'd get the same result tax wise by just funding, if you will, their own retirement plan? Is that right?
That's correct. Yep. So you could put a lot of the company's money as a contribution to the owner and to any possible employees. Those contributions can be tax deductible to the business.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Dollar for dollar, huh?
That's it. Yep.
So let me start off then. I have a list of questions here I want to Tony and I have worked through, and I'll start with number one here, Stephen. And then, so first question I had was benefits of starting a new 401k plan. What would you say is a benefit, Stephen, if you will, of a company starting a 401k?
Well, 401ks is the term everybody's familiar with, right? Oh, company has a 401k. They just associate that with a retirement plan. There's many types of retirement plans. The 401k is kind of the popular one.
Right.
This is a great, tool for attracting potential employees, a benefit you're going to give to your existing employees. This is something everybody can benefit from within that company. We've already mentioned the tax the tax deferrals into this. So you have the ability to defer taxes on the individual side with your deferrals from your pay. And then if the company wants to put any contributions, like we said, a match or profit sharing, something like that, that is also an employer contribution, which can be tax deferred as well, right, for the company.
So there's a tax break for the company by having a 401k. They can get a tax break by applying a match, is what you're saying.
They can. That's
great. Yeah. And it's hard you said to stay competitive or attract good employees, right? That's got to be the number one reason, because I would think it would be hard to attract really good employees if you didn't have a 401k plan as an employer.
It's part of that benefit package, right? You hear health insurance or, dental coverage or vision, and then you hear the retirement side, the 401k, company offers a 401k. Maybe they even say offers a 401k match as the way to highlight the retirement plan that the company can offer.
Yeah. I wouldn't work for the company I work for doing what I do full time if they did not offer a 401, some type of employer sponsored retirement plan like a 401k and a match. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of people feel that way.
Yeah. So absolutely. So let's walk through a scenario or two. Let's say I'm sitting out here and I'm a self-employed person, but I have no employees. I may have some, contract labor. I pay some we have 1099 contract labor folks that do things for us, but we have no W-2 employees, and I'm working, I'm self-employed, and I'm paying my taxes on the profit of the business, right? So just walk through that, if you will. So correct me with the terms, but I think I'm speaking about just like a solo 401k. Mm-hmm. If I'm a self-employed person and I have no W-2 employees and I want to open up a solo 401k, tell me what kind of contributions I can make to that plan.
Sure. So you're right on the solo 401k. It really is just meant it's a 401k plan, but it's only for one person. It's that business owner, because there are no other employees in that situation. Mm-hmm. How much you could put in, it's a moving target every year. So just like taxes or anything else, the government's going to kind of reassess, and if they want to move those limits and all of these things every year, usually you will see that happen. This year for 2025, we have a $70,000 401k limit. That's the maximum you can put into your 401k for all money sources. So every which way you could put money into a plan, when you hit 70, you're topped out. That's the limit. Okay.
So as a quick example, and not to cut you, but I want to just make sure we're all clear. So if my company profited after expenses and everything, and then my net profit that I'm going to pay taxes on, let's say, is $200,000 after all said and done. You're saying that with the right setup and the right plan, this solo 401k, conceivably I could put 70,000. So right off the bat, rather than me paying taxes on 200,000, I could fund 70,000 into my solo 401k, and that would bring my taxable income down to around 130. Correct.
Yep. So, wow. In a lot lot of cases, it depends is kind of the answer.
Sure,
there, right?
but
depending on the setup, depending on how much the owner is paying themselves. Mm-hmm. Yes, you have the ability to put from the company directly $20,000. I call it an employer contribution or a profit sharing contribution into the plan, up to $70,000 if you want to. Mm-hmm. You also can that owner could also do their own deferrals from their pay. So if they're paying themselves a W-2 or paying themselves a Schedule C on Schedule C, that money can be deferred into the plan as well, right? As part of that 70,000 total limit. Mm-hmm. And the most you can put in on the individual side, the deferrals from your own pay would be $23,500 for 2025 or this year.
So it would matter how I'm getting paid, how it's structured. So if I'm on a W-2 from my company and I have there's probably a magic number, if you will, from what the W-2 income is in order to allow me to put the 23,500 of deferral, mm-hmm. and then going into
and how much more you can do from the company
to get to this 70,000 limit.
That's right.
So there's going to be some structure, if you will, between the W-2 income and what's coming in from the company outside of the W-2 to dial this number in. But, at the end of it, I mean, if I'm just randomly, I don't have any concept of this, or if I'm just, have some base W-2 income I'm drawing. And I mean, conceivably, I could be missing the boat here.
Very much so. At a very minimum, you can always defer from your own pay, assuming your owner is paying themselves from the company a wage, their compensation. You can do that, and then you're always, the doors open for those employer contributions every year, and that could be a year-over-year decision. This is nothing that you're tying yourself into, that I have to make these large contributions every single year from the company to myself. These can be done year over year, depending on how your tax situation may look, or depending how much cash is sitting in the company accounts and at year end. Mm-hmm. So you have a lot of flexibility. The biggest part, and Anthony and I have seen this, is every situation is different with a business owner, right? What are they trying to do? What are they trying to get out of it? Are we opening their eyes to the idea of a retirement plan, and they're kind of saying, oh, okay, that makes sense. Let me do that. You guys tell me what I should do, right? Or is it someone that is, hey, I want to have a retirement plan. They're knowledgeable at least enough about it to ask questions and get our opinion on what we think would work best for them. Mm-hmm. So we've seen that, him and I, and in most cases, there is some sort of a work out there where we can help that business owner put away money for themselves in retirement. They're all different, right? And how they're paying themselves, how much money they're making. Are they growing as a business? Are they kind of winding down as they've gotten older? All of those things kind of play into what type of a plan we might want to put in place for them and help them out with.
Yeah. So very good. So for the small business owner, the business owner out here that has an LLC or an S Corp and no employees, there's certainly retirement plans that can be offered that could help fund their own retirement, right? I mean, kind of the old cliche, pay yourself first. Yeah. And so then there's the business owner out here that has W-2 employees. So in that regard, you can still have your own 401k that you're contributing to, but you also have a responsibility to offer that 401k to your W-2 employees, correct?
That's correct. And again, answer is it depends. The plan itself, when we set this plan up, or if we're helping kind of design their plan for them, we can set eligibility. So that's a piece that's customizable from one plan to the next. So we can set eligibility where, you want to have immediate eligibility. So you hire someone day one, they're eligible for the 401k plan. That's possible. If you want to have someone wait, say 3 months, 6 months down the line after they've been hired to become eligible. Mm-hmm. But at some point, most of the employees are going to become eligible depending on what the plan says is the eligibility period. And then you're going to offer them the chance to get in the plan as well. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, and then that eligibility period and even a vesting provisions on the company's match can also be, I mean, you basically design in your plan, and that could ultimately be, and as Tony mentioned a little while ago, maybe a recruiting tool, but it could also, you could look at it as a retention tool as well.
Yeah. No, for sure. That's a very popular option we'll see with any of the company contributions that the business wants to give to the employees within the plan. You can have it set up on a vesting schedule. So over time, whether that's a period of just a couple of years, you can have it where it's in portions, it's vested. And if the employee were to stay that long and the vesting schedule is met at 100%, well, then all those monies that have potentially been given to that employee are now 100% vested. All of that money is theirs. It's in their account. They're seeing it on their statements, and can look at it real time there. Mm-hmm. If you have an employee that would happen to leave before that vesting schedule is fulfilled, you're going to forfeit some of that money. That employee would leave that money on the table if they were to leave the employer that has given them that money before that vesting schedule was met.
Right. Thus maybe more, better retention and absolutely
it's an incentive to stay.
An incentive.
Yeah.
So if we were to, so what does the TPA, what does it stand for, and what do y'all actually do?
Yeah. So I think I mentioned it earlier. TPA, which stands for a third party administrator. What we do is fulfill for our client, the business owner, we're fulfilling their administrative duties on their retirement plan. There are a lot of rules, a lot of regulations that are built within this retirement plan world, and we're going to help them navigate what that is. That's from the very onset of, hey, we want to start a plan. Okay, well, we can help you set up your plan and customize your plan, but do it within the rules. And then also down the line, we're going to do there's compliance testing. There's all these types of things we have to watch throughout the year for their clients. Make sure that they're not crossing over any of these, problem areas or creating issues for themselves by managing their plan. But we're keeping an eye on that for them, right? And we're running these tests and making sure, hey, if we're going to run into any sort of problems, let's get ahead of it, right? Let's kind of set up the plan not to fail on the front end. And that's what we're hoping to do. That's certainly my goal for a meeting with a client like that is, hey, let me set up the plan the way you want it to be set up, but let's also do it in a way that's easy to understand. And then we're not setting ourselves up for problems later on. Yeah.
I can't even imagine the amount of compliance and issues and things that need to be tracked and taken care of in these types of plan administrations. And so if I run a small business, it's invaluable to have someone like yourself oversee that plan and be a third-party manager, right?
That's exactly right. I honestly, before I started in this career, I had no idea what a third-party administrator was, what that even, what that even did for a business, right? What was it? The
benefits.
Yeah.
A lot of rules and red tape, I bet.
For sure. And it's kind of a, it can be a pain. But the solution is you have a TPA that can help you navigate through those things. Yeah.
Yeah. And, one of the things that we, as let's just say individual retirement planners, where we're working with, the individual, whether it's the business owner or the employee, we know as retirement planners that everybody's individual, family dynamics and their situation is all different, right? So, but for the employer that's trying to offer a retirement plan for their employees and for themselves, what I always thought was real unique about our relationship with Stephen and the Haslauer Group is I feel that we're bringing the best of both worlds to the company, right? So we're helping them set up the retirement plan and for the employees and for the business owner, and they get the retirement plan and the tax benefits and the tax deferrals and all the things that go along with having a retirement plan. But then too often we hear out here in the field that, companies that do have 401ks and do have retirement plans, they don't, the individuals that are participating in that retirement plan don't have their own, if you will, personal financial plan for their own family and their own family dynamics. Whereas how I feel with Stephen and the Haslauer Group and our firm at Crescent City Retirement Group is we kind of bring, if you will, the best of both worlds to it.
All right. Well, guys, this has been a great discussion. Unfortunately, we're out of time. It flew by. So if our listeners have a need, I know we have listeners out there who are small business owners or large business owners. How can they get a hold of you and begin this process?
Well, absolutely. Well, so you can always go to crescentcityretirement.com at our website, and this show and many other shows are on the website. You can just fill out a little request page to get more information about your own personal quotes and your own personal objectives of your retirement, your small business. As Stephen mentioned a couple of times, it's really a personalized approach because everybody's situation certainly is different. But you can visit us at crescentcityretirement.com or just simply pick up the phone and call 504-828 2171. And Stephen, why don't you put your information out there?
Yeah. So same as you had mentioned, please visit our website, haslauergroup.com, and I'll spell it HASLAUER group.com. On there, you have our office number. You can certainly give us a call, ask for me if you need to have a discussion into something. There's a lot of good information on that website as far as the limits that pertain to how we can help with a potential new client or maybe an existing 401k plan that a client has that may be looking to make a move and come to us if we can help them out.
All right. Well, thanks, guys. And thanks, Stephen, for being on the show today.
Welcome.
Great show. A lot of information. And Anthony, great show as always. Listeners and viewers, that does it for today's episode of Wealth Builders with our host, Anthony Congemi.
Thank you for listening to Wealth Builders. Don't pay too much for taxes or retire without a sound income plan. For more information, please contact Anthony Congemi at Crescent City Retirement Group by calling 504-828-2171 or visiting them online at crescentcityretirement.com.
Fee-based financial planning and investment advisory services are offered by Crescent City Retirement Group, LLC, a registered investment advisor in the state of Louisiana. Insurance products and services are offered through Crescent City Insurance Group, LLC. Crescent City Retirement Group, LLC, and Crescent City Insurance Group, LLC are affiliated companies. All matters discussed during the show are for informational purposes only. Each individual situation may vary, and the opinions expressed here may not apply to everyone. Materials presented are believed to be from reliable sources, and no representations can be made as to its accuracy. All ideas and information should be discussed in detail with one of our qualified representatives prior to implementation. We are not affiliated with or endorsed by the Social Security Administration, the Federal Medicare Program, or any other government agency. Calling this number will direct you to a licensed sales agent.